This person went from getting fired from his full-time teaching job, starting one of the biggest food review channels with his now wife, and impacting so many restaurants in the Chicagoland area, helping them be found and grow their business. What's up, everybody? I'm your host today, AJ DeAndrea, and welcome back to the Monday Mindset, where we talk with business owners, creators, and much more. Today, I had the chance to speak with my friend Amin from Chicago Food Guide, and we talked about some amazing things. We talked about what he learned from getting fired from his first job and why he still continues to teach because it's his passion, how content creators can impact business in the marketing world, how to keep a steady mind and keep pushing forward through negativity, and much more as always. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Pleasure to be here with you. You have some really amazing content that you post to your page.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Obviously, you could tell you've been doing this for a long time, but give us a little bit of background of where this all started.
Yeah, so it started all with my girlfriend, now wife. Mm-hmm. She lived in the city.
Okay.
And I'm a kid from the suburbs. And I mean, what do we got in the suburbs? We got, other than here, right? Oasis, we got Lockport. These places weren't around like 5 years ago.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, right.
You had Ruby Tuesdays, Chili's, TGI Fridays. So not a lot of good restaurants. And I started going to hang out with her. And when you're first meeting a girl, what are you always doing? You're always going out to restaurants, taking her out to eat, discovering all these new places. So I was like, am I going to pick her up so she lived in West Town at the time. Like, am I going to drive all the way to the city and then take her all the way back to the suburbs to eat TGI Fridays? Or am I going to pick her up and then we're going to find a cool place around her area? And in that area, there was like on Division Street. I don't know if you know all those restaurants over there.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, some really cool restaurants. And I started seeing some really cool stuff. Like, I remember the biggest thing that caught my attention was a gelato taco.
Oh,
it's pretty dope. It's graham cracker and then it's like dipped in chocolate, gelato in it. So those cool dessert tacos, and they also had this cool cheesy bread that was like, where you pull the cheesy bread and the cheese just goes like for miles. And I was like, I need to start taking pictures of this stuff. I genuinely like this stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love food. I've always been a foodie all my life. I mean, I'm a big dude, love food. Growing up, I just always like to go out, try places, all that stuff. So I took these pictures and I was like, okay, I should start a blog. Yeah. Like I should start a website and put all these pictures on the blog. My wife was like, well, what is this, 2005? Like a blog is super retro. Don't do that. Start an Instagram page. So I started an Instagram page and I started putting the pictures there. And then I had one of my best friends, his name's Ramsey. He just got out of a marketing program.
Oh, nice.
And he said, a good idea is to network, talk to a bunch of people on social media, follow, comment on pages. So I kept doing that over and over and over again. Like every day I would get up and I called it like the 50-50-50 rule. I would like 50 pages, follow 50 pages, and comment 50 times.
Okay.
And it was just a hustle, like hours upon hours a day, checking to see if people responded to me, responding back to those.
Oh, nice.
And it was a slow grind to get to about, you get 100 followers, then 500, then 1,000, and then 2, 3, 4. And once we hit about 5,000 followers on Instagram, that's when we kind of plateaued. From there, we created a TikTok, and that was during the pandemic. So Instagram, we made that first. And we ran Instagram for about a year without TikTok. When TikTok came out, we blew up.
Yeah.
Videos are just more addicting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Doom scrolling is like a real thing, man. People just scroll. Pictures aren't as addicting. So we came out with the TikTok and we just blew up from there, really.
So everything just kind of took off as soon as that TikTok happened. Yeah. You make your first video and then it's just continuous growth after that.
Yeah, the discipline and the consistency came with when we first started that Instagram page. But the overall just like performance felt like TikTok is what got our name out. Yeah. And it also felt like TikTok was the thing that helped restaurants more.
Oh, absolutely,
like, you made that TikTok and 100 people came in. I never heard you posted that picture and 100 people came in.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said that to me.
Yeah. I think you mentioned a good point with that. You said helping businesses, the TikToks did a lot more of that for you. So during this time that you're starting to grow your page and everything, how do you feel like your impact to businesses has been over the years? And like, what do you feel like you're bringing to businesses now by doing this for them?
It's a good question. I would like to think, like in a perfect world, every place we go to, they're always busy.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate reality. Sometimes things are trending. Sometimes people want this specific food at this specific time, this month. But for the most part, because we're consistently getting a bunch of people who are coming in wanting promotion on our pages, it means it's working. Yeah. Right? And we've worked with places like, over here, Oasis. We worked with them multiple times. So it means they either enjoyed our work, enjoyed us as a company, or they've seen the benefit of what we do. But that's a good question, right? Like, how do we know if it's working?
Yeah.
Like when you post that TikTok or that Instagram, how do I know the money that that place spends on promotion ends up working out for them in the long run? For the most part, it's been pretty good. I'm not a super analytical guy.
Yeah.
I think maybe I could definitely hit that next level by saying like, hey, this is what I heard, this is the numbers, these are that.
Yeah.
For now, it's just, I guess it's like the vibe, right? Like, what is the vibe after we post the video?
Yeah.
And I asked them, like, how do you feel? Like today, I just asked you.
Yeah, absolutely.
After we came out to Oasis, what did they feel?
Yeah.
And
It's been slammed. It's been slammed. Yeah,
so that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? It's always interesting. You know, you say something about the analytics and stuff, but I think what you do for businesses, it is hard to track, but it's so apparent and clear because like I'm sure some people will be like sending it out and like the one statistic I like to look at the most is shares.
Yeah.
And it's like if you have a video that's getting shared a lot, you already know for a fact that that's making an impact somehow, some way.
Nobody's sending a video to someone to say, I hate this place.
Yeah, right.
Maybe there was a bad experience, but a lot of people are sending a video to say, hey, we should go check it out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, or, oh, this place looks good. Or, hey, do you know this place? Nobody's ever sending a video to say, let's avoid this place.
Yeah, right.
No one ever says that.
Yeah.
Very small amount of people. So, yeah, no, we get thousands of shares on a lot of the videos, and that gives us a lot of confidence. Like, hey, I know people are sending it to other people.
Yeah.
So we're planting the seed for them to try out this, small mom and pop spot. Family-owned business, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of brings me into something that you just said. It was a good point, right? Something interesting about going viral. I always say this to everybody I talk to. I said, hey, it's a curse and a blessing because you just have to have tunnel vision. You got to ignore some of the negativity that gets put on out there on the internet and the free world, right? How do you, one, prepare like your clients for the negative comments that happen? And two, how do you deal with them? Because I think off the camera, we had mentioned that you understand how helpful those are to actually building more
I welcome.
presence.
So like when a client, I welcome the negative.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I first started the page, I think I told you this a couple days ago, right? Like last week or something, like 2 weeks ago. When I first started my page, I'd create like burner accounts basically.
Yeah, right.
And talk shit about myself.
Yeah.
Like this guy's from the suburbs. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
What is this? What is that? Like this place isn't that good. That place doesn't look that. Guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This girl. They didn't even know if I was a girl or a guy because I was using the computer voice at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And from there, in the comments, it causes people to either defend me or keep going against me or the restaurant or the place I'm at.
Yeah.
And that just creates virality, right? That just creates like a polarization of I either need to defend this page or I need to go in and insult this place or this guy or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I always tell them some of my best posts. You go where we have 6, 7, 8 million views. You go in the comment section. It's a madhouse.
Yeah, right.
Like there's some things you don't understand. If it's consistent in the same criticism over and over again, I got to take a step back and I need to be like, all right, listen, restaurant A, you could have done this better because there's like 100 people telling me, that your appetizers suck, right?
Yeah.
That's when I'll be like, hey, maybe it's a good idea you fix this. Or if 1,000 people are commenting this customer service is trash here, then it becomes a problem. You got to look at the man in the mirror.
Absolutely.
But when it's just a couple things here and there, or when people are picking on small things, I want that. I need that. That's what helps get these restaurants more people. For every one negative person, there's like 3 positive people that will walk in those doors and spend money here.
Oh, absolutely. And I would even say go further than that. I would say for every like one comment could lead to like 10 to 20 more seeds for people that are be like, hey, it can't be that bad, right? Let me go check this out. You know what I mean?
And it's like you're trying to, figure it out yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what everybody should do
Yeah.
in life. You shouldn't just take everybody's opinion to heart all the time. Take everything with a grain of salt. Figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Some people, they might not like X, Y, and Z, whether it be food, politics, clothes, whatever it may be, people.
Yeah.
You figure it out for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's our goal. Our page is literally just built so that people can go to a restaurant, figure it out for themselves.
You mentioned like the growth from that small page that page that you were building up to. Now you're building an empire that's going to probably at some point reach 1 million followers.
Hopefully.
How does your mindset change and have to shift from going from that small page into now taking this and using it as an opportunity to build a business out of this?
Yeah, so that's an amazing question because that's when you that's the difference of being a worker in your business and being a business owner. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way. I got fired from my I'm a teacher. That's what I do full time.
Yeah.
And I do the food reviews and all the promotion on the side. One of my first jobs I got fired from because I had all this work laid out in front of me. I had 10 social media management clients, right? Social media management, you do it. A lot of influencers do it as well because the second somebody wants you to come into a restaurant, you can propose to them, hey, would you like us to do all of your social media and you pay us X amount of dollars a month?
Absolutely.
And we handle all your social media needs. I had 10 of those clients, 3 posts a week. So that's 30 posts a week,
that's a lot.
right? On top of having to go do food reviews, having to go to the places, right? Having to go to every single place that you see on my page, I had to go to. And then you're also a full-time teacher. One of those 3 things has to go.
Yeah, right.
And the first 2 were paying me so much more money. So just as a young man, worrying about my family and all this different stuff, how am I going to take care of my wife, my family, my friends? I had to make a decision, and I would walk in every day, and I learned from this. This was a bad thing. It was a sign that I needed to grow and delegate to different people. I would hire people to go and get the videos now. I hire people to do the editing for my social media management. I hire people to do the posting and all that kind of stuff.
You know, it's always a good and bad thing. I say it's a curse and a blessing because in my opinion, the way I view life is that sometimes you got to take risk, right? If you're not pushing that line of something's going to have to go, then you're not really taking enough of a risk to get out there and accomplish something. 100%. But what did you learn from getting fired from that job? And what not only learn in the moment, but like what have you learned long term as far as where you want to go with your future?
There comes a point where the owner needs to say of the business, do I want to grow or do I want to keep my hands in everything, right? Like you'll make a little bit less money in the interim, but you're growing so much that it ends up paying off tenfold. Like our revenue has gone probably times 4 ever since I hired somebody to go do the influencing videos. So there's really 3 parts of our business. The first part is influencer stuff. That's what everybody sees. Everybody sees, hey, they went to this restaurant, right? Yeah. So I hired a guy, his name's Alex. Great guy. Masters in IT, everything. He really knows what he's doing. It took me some time to teach him how to get the angles, how to get the lighting, how to do the posts, all that kind of stuff, what songs to use. But he picked it up real fast. Yeah. I got lucky with that. So in that influencer side, he goes to the restaurant, he edits the video, puts the song on it, and just gives it to me and I just speak on it, just talking people through it. So I don't really do much of the legwork. The second part of our business is the social media management. Now I have a video photo team who will go to the client. They'll create a 300-400 video photo bank. Then I have another team edit all the posts and post for the client. I'm not really doing much there. And then the third thing is influencer marketing. So like, for example, a lot of restaurants want to bring in people like us. They want to either bring in us or people like us, or they have a specific type of person they're trying to bring in, a certain clientele, a certain area, but we find the right influencers for them. Yeah. So that is something I do because I had to develop all those relationships and it doesn't take as much time. But if you want to grow, you have to be more hands-off. Because I would go in at my first job and I would just work on my business. I wasn't serving the community that hired me to serve them. And it felt bad and I learned from that. But from there, I decided I need more people to help me. Now, 7 people do the job that I was just doing. I was doing the same job now that 7 people do. So it was really tough on me. But if you want to grow, you just got to hire the people. You got to trust those people. It might not be perfect at first, but you got to, if you find the good, consistent behavior, the discipline, you'll find the right people. Yeah. And I found some really great people.
And that's always the most important part, right? Sometimes that's the hardest part about it is finding good people because, you know, I always say like sometimes like when you're at a certain level and skill set, it's hard to bring somebody up to speed and especially in a timely manner. Exactly. What we've been doing takes years.
Exactly. What's one thing I learned though? I don't mind not offering as quality of a service if I know I'm offering a more consistent service.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good, yeah.
Like, instead of me offering out of those 3 videos a week with the clients, not every video needs to look amazing. But if I know I'm constantly interacting with people and we're doing things the right way, of course the perfectionist in me is like, and you know too, I want this color grade, this song, I want this caption, I want a lot of people to view it, but that's not the way life works. Sometimes you have to just be like, okay, I'm gonna consistently do the right behaviors, but if you're gonna be a perfectionist, you're the only one that can do it perfect.
Can't agree more. That I think consistency is the hill a lot of people do. And I think it's like, in your head, if the product's cool, awesome, that's fine. But if there's no way that you're gonna keep just doubling, you have to play a long game. You know, there's months that I prepare for like my situation where it's like, okay, there's not really much trending right now. There's not really much going on, or what's trending is not something we want to do.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like, okay, this is gonna be a shorter month, but we're preparing for the next one to hop right on that wave. You know.
No doubt.
And I think it takes time to kind of develop that aspect. You talk about these mistakes and stuff like that, and I think you put it probably in the most simple way possible. Like, hey, just make actionable things and stuff like that. But sometimes I feel like when people make a mistake, they feel like a guilt behind it. Were you always just like kind of in that position where you were just like, okay, hey, like let me just make the actionable decision now? Or was there some type of like emotional influence too that was kind of like, man, I messed up, like dwelling on it a little bit? If you had that, how did you overcome it? If you didn't, What do you feel like played a factor into not having it?
That's a good question, right? Because if you
Yeah.
make the mistake, a lot of people, they sit there and they sulk. When I got fired from my first job, that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
It hurt, right?
Yeah.
They don't want you. When somebody doesn't want you, that hurts your inside, right?
Yeah.
That makes you feel like, okay, I messed up. But from there, you let yourself feel it. Don't ignore it, right?
Yeah.
Feel the pain, feel the anguish, feel the, oh, I f***ed up. Feel it, but then from there, decide, am I going to live in that or am I going to graduate from it?
Absolutely.
Am I going to live in that pile of dirt or am I going to walk out of it? So I think that coupled with, like I said, growing up, my mom was a great mother. She gave me confidence to do everything. That's something maybe even in the college, I was a little too overconfident.
Yeah, right.
But that confidence, I walk with it when I walk down the street. I walk with it in my conversations. So I knew I was better than that mistake. And that's what you have to tell yourself.
Yeah.
You're not your mistake. You're not your current emotion. This is just the emotion you're feeling now. People are allowed to feel sad. People are allowed to feel angry, frustrated, but don't live in it. It's not something that comes from God. God doesn't want you to be angry, frustrated, and sad all the time.
Yeah.
Feel it so you can learn from the mistake, but walk with that confidence and say, I'm better than that.
Absolutely.
God wants more for me.
Yeah, amen. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it, you know,
No.
because I was somebody in the past, I wasn't taught how to like deal with my mistakes, right? Sometimes I would dwell on them and just be like, just sit there. And, you know, sometimes when you have a clear mind, that's when like everything starts coming in. Like I could have did this, but
Write that
it's, but it's like something I've been doing was just saying, hey, okay, stop thinking about it in the sense of like, hey, you can't just stop, but let's go do something else. You know, let's go for a walk or something like that. Just kind of like putting it to other places and then just realizing, is bad?
Yeah.
You know, did you? That's
Exactly.
what I like to say.
It's like a basketball player.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss more shots than you're gonna make.
Yeah.
It's like a hockey player. You're gonna miss more pucks going into the goal than you're gonna make.
Yeah.
But if you're too scared to hit it again,
Yeah.
or you're too scared to shoot the basket, you're gonna condemn yourself. You're gonna be done.
Yeah.
Whatever your career you're doing, whatever you're doing, if you're afraid to take that next step, it's done.
Yeah.
Because you're too afraid to make the mistake.
Yeah.
Make the mistake. Welcome them. Because for every 100 mistakes, you're gonna get it right at least once or twice.
Absolutely.
So just hit that 100th mistake, and then you know something good's on the other end.
One of the big things I think we had a good conversation about outside of this was your future and going forward, right? One, where do you see your business going in the future? And two, what new things are you implementing? Because one thing I've noticed just right off the bat was the skits. I really like the skits and the ideas that you have. Those are really cool. Where do you see Chicago Food Guide and just any of your business media ventures going in the future?
I think I like to, of course, develop what we got right now.
Yeah.
Social media management, the influencer stuff, keep that going, working with really cool restaurants, supporting places, getting more clients for our management.
Yeah.
And then also helping more people find the right influencers to help them get in there.
Absolutely.
So that the restaurants feel support. Like, hey, I don't have to feel like I'm navigating the whole influencer scene on my own, but almost like I got help. I got a guide, like an influencer food guide.
Yeah, right. You put it right
But like you said, the comedy stuff is really, I think everybody loves to laugh and everybody loves to eat.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I love to do. So I kind of want to set up a situation for more people to laugh and more people to go out to eat.
Yeah.
So I think the comedy skits are something I want to keep doing. Johnny Vitti, he's a local Chicago actor, and he does some really cool stuff. Been working with some other guys. I want to continue to do that.
Yeah.
Like making fun Chicago style stuff, or even just daily comedy, like stuff that is funny.
Yeah.
That's something. One thing I would really also like, just in terms of monetization of the page, is to work with bigger brands. So we've worked with some pretty big brands like Culver's, Wendy's, Raising Cane's. Those deals pay a lot more than the mom and pop. Rightfully so. They have a lot bigger marketing budgets. But that'll help me hit that next level, for my family, right? To get a nicer school for my kid, to get a nicer house for me, for my family, to, go out and not have to feel like money is an issue or whatever it may be. And God has definitely blessed me.
Absolutely.
Money has been a great thing that this business has brought in. But I think the bigger goal really is just to reach more people and to let them know who I am.
Yeah.
Because I think when people feel equity in who you are, like when they see it and they're like, oh, this guy's process, this guy, what he does, and I trust this and that, you start to become more genuine.
Yeah.
And I think that's what God wants for all of us, is to be more genuine. So I think developing what I got, working with bigger brands, and continuing to, look around and do some comedy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
no.
fun.
I mean, you know what? I think something I really got out of this is just like the level-headedness, right? Of like everything. I feel like you just make the logical decision and you just roll with it. And it's just like, hey, you know what? I love the thing that you said. I'm just worried about expanding my current brand, right? Sometimes people get caught up in the limelight and see the next,
I want to
red dress,
add
right?
7 different parts of my business.
Yeah,
Well, if you're not good at 3 or 4 of them, then chances are nobody's going to work with you, right?
Yeah, and I really respect that because there's not a lot of people that are like, hey, I just want to be great with one thing, It was a mistake I made. I had to learn from that mistake a long time ago, trying to expand into the right avenue too fast. So it's been definitely something very interesting to learn, and it's good to see that from somebody, especially that's doing it out there, that's putting it out there.
I made those mistakes too. I mean, I told you about me wanting to be a DJ, and I DJ'd my buddy's wedding, and I did a couple of restaurants. I almost did a club, and after I did a couple of those experiences, I realized I like this.
Yeah.
And this makes some money, but it isn't something I like as my business with Chicago Food Guide.
Absolutely.
And it isn't something I like as much as teaching.
Yeah.
It isn't something as much as I like spending time with my family.
Yeah.
So I had to cut that.
I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by and
Thanks for having
doing
me.
this podcast and doing this amazing
fun.
show. You obviously have a lot of experience, like in a lot of things to go, and make sure you guys follow the page. We got Amin of Chicago Food Guide. What he's been doing is extremely special, very consistent. Worked with him on more than a few occasions. Let me just get this out the way too, because I think this is so important. If you're a restaurant or if you're somebody considering getting social media influencers for your brand or your business, I'm gonna always go 100% yes, because the value that these people bring and these companies bring to your business is like insane for what it's worth, right? People think social media, it's fun. I mean, I'm sure you can expand on that.
Yeah. One of the things I learned, and I saw a funny video, and it was like the restaurant manager doing social media.
Yeah,
Did you see that video on TikTok?
I think.
And it's like this bald older dude,
Yeah.
and he's going like this in front of all the food,
Yeah.
and it looks like he's doing some work. It looks like he's getting done.
Yeah.
And then you turn it around, and you see, and the video is just a forward-facing video, and it's just his face. He's not showing any of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So I think some people, because it's so free, it's so available, you could become good at it if you put enough time to it.
Absolutely.
But restaurant owners have so much more to worry about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it becomes really overwhelming.
Yeah.
But to know that, like, hey, this guy is going to come and he's got it all, and I trust him, that's what makes me feel good about helping a restaurant.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
No problem, bro. Thank you for having me, man.
Yep.